Hi, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing 6 sexy ways to drive a man wild in bed. Hi, I'm Matt Shaffer, your empowerment, connection, and relationship coach, and I'm a former attorney who's committed his life to supporting you and having the sort of fun, fulfilling, dynamic connections and relationships with men that you are so worthy of. And I am super excited about this video. I'm going to be diving into 6 man-melting tips that are going to electrify your sex life between the sheets, or if you're feeling frisky, anywhere else in the world too, right? Why limit it to the bedroom? These are simple strategies that are gonna supercharge your connection with him physically. And the thing is, they're things that your man is craving, but he's probably been afraid to ask you up until now. So I'm gonna do him and you a favor and just share them with you on his behalf. But before we dive into that, be sure to take a second, hit that little subscribe button, and don't forget to click that link in the comments and caption because I have created an awesome free gift that is going to make a huge difference in your connections and relationships with men. Now, for each tip, I'm going to be sharing with you some practical examples of how to apply it with your guy. And be sure to stay tuned towards the end of the video because I'm going to be giving you a special bonus tip that's going to make actually using these things in your sex life way more fun and way easier. So now, without further ado, turn your AC down to 68 because it's about to get hot in here. Let's dive into the video. Now, tip number 1 is a subtle yet very powerful one, and that is to tease and tempt him. And what I mean when I say that is you want to be building anticipation of the rendezvous that you two are going to have long before you enter the bedroom. Now, I want you to think about what you're doing here like a great movie trailer where you're going to be hinting at the amazing show that's to come later and building up that sense of anticipation and eagerness within him that's going to make it even more explosive when the two of you finally connect later. And one great way to do this is by sending him a flirty text during the day saying something like, "I can't stop thinking about what I'm going to do to you later." It's like planting a little seed, a seed of desire that's going to keep growing throughout the afternoon. It's so good. And if you want to up the naughtiness factor of this one, send him that text when you know he's at a very inappropriate place, like he's in a meeting with his boss or he's on a Zoom conference or something. The unexpected and taboo nature when you're sharing it is going to take things to a totally new level. And I guarantee you it's going to be really hard for him to focus on whatever he's supposed to be focusing on after getting that message from you. And sending this simple text without any specific details literally is inviting his imagination to run wild and turning what would otherwise be a standard workday into a night hangout into a countdown to passion, which is a lot more fun. Am I right? And there's science here too, ladies. Did you know that anticipation of reward actually activates the same neural pathways as the reward itself? Yeah. There have been so many studies on this. So by you sending him unexpected but endearing text messages that are sexy and inviting, you're making yourself kind of an addictive force in his life that he will not be able to get enough of. So get out there, fire up those thumbs, and start playing with him. And tip number 2 is simple but so powerful, and it is just to voice your desires. Speaking up about what you want and what turns you on is incredibly sexy to men because guess what, Buttercup? Confidence is extremely sexy to men. And when you communicate what you desire in the bedroom powerfully, it not only ensures that both you and your guy are going to have a great time, but it also demonstrates that you know your body and that you're comfortable with intimacy and with passion. And these are all things that are super attractive to men. For example, during a steamy makeout session, whisper into his ear exactly what it is that you want. Like tell him, "I would love it if you would nibble on my earlobe right now. That would turn me on so much." Or encourage him to keep doing something that you're really enjoying, like, "I am loving how you're kissing my neck. Can you do more of that?" Either way, whether you're inviting him to do something new or you're telling him something that he's doing great, you're giving him powerful feedback that he's doing a good job, which is going to inspire him to want to be more directive and more confident in the way that he's creating pleasure for the two of you. Did you see how that's going to make your sex a whole lot better? And just so you know, acknowledging a man for his actions, anything that he's doing that you like, is always a good idea, either in the bedroom or just in a relationship in general. So if you like what he's doing, my dear, don't be shy. Tell him. Help us help you, because trust me, we want to make you happy. And tip number 3 is one you can use from your date with this guy to foreplay all the way through to sex, and that is to embrace the moment. And this one is absolutely critical, ladies. Being present and actively engaged in every stage of physical intimacy signals to him that you're really enjoying the experience with him, which is going to heighten his pleasure. And it's so important to remember here that one thing that men are deeply craving from the feminine is your presence. It is your present energy that allows us to drop out of our head and into our bodies, which is so important if we're going to be sharing our bodies with you in physical intimacy. And some great ways to do this are to maintain eye contact with him as you're kissing your way down his body, or going down on him, or purring into his ear, or digging your nails into his body as he's doing anything with you sexually that you really love. Basically, if you just keep a continual sexy feedback loop going with him, you don't even have to say anything to do it, he is going to go absolutely wild. And this level of engagement shows that you're not just physically present with this guy, but you're like mentally and emotionally in the moment with him, which is going to amplify the connection and the trust between the two of you. Because there have been studies that have shown that continual eye contact specifically actually increases levels of trust and connection between two people. And where is that more important than during sex? Am I right? Now, tip number 4 is literally sexual catnip to guys, and that is to mix things up. Variety truly is the spice of life, especially to men and especially in the bedroom. Because one thing you got to remember about guys is we are generally habit-based, routine-based creatures. We are going to go back to the same patterns over and over and over again. And especially when it comes to sex, that often leads to us just going through the same routine positions and stuff over and over again. And then we get bored. And boredom is not what we want in intimacy, correct? And trying new things keeps the excitement alive and also keeps your guy creatively engaged with you, which is one of the biggest keys to a long-term fulfilling relationship, both physically and just emotionally. And there's so many sexy ways to do this. You could surprise him with a new lingerie set, or maybe recommend a different sexual position that you're interested in trying, or even bring home a couple new toys, maybe one to use on him and one for him to use on you. I'll never forget one time me and this girl I was dating, we decided to mix things up and go to a lingerie shop and pick out some new outfits and toys, and we didn't really know what to expect. When we got in there and started shopping for this stuff, it was so hot. It was literally like foreplay. The whole process was. And by the time we left that lingerie shop, we were both shaking. We were so turned on. It was an absolute blast. We filled out an entire punch card at this lingerie shop in one trip. So just know that any little thing you do to mix things up, no matter how big or how small, it's going to show that you really care about keeping the spice and keeping the fire going in the relationship sexually, which means a lot to men. And tip number 5 is another one that's very important to sustaining the passion in physical intimacy with your guy long term, and that is to savor the foreplay. Now, foreplay isn't just a prelude to sex. It is a crucial part of the experience that heightens arousal and intimacy for both you and your partner. Taking your time enhances the connection and makes the climax even more satisfying for both of you when you finally get there. And there are so many hot ways to enjoy foreplay. You can really take your time just kissing and touching each other's bodies without having to go straight right for penetration. Or you could explore with power dynamics and try restraining your partner or having them restrain you. All these sort of things, whatever you're into, and I invite you to have an open conversation with the guy that you're getting to know and ask him what turns him on outside of just, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, right? Have these conversations. Start to learn what foreplay really looks like for your partner, what really gets their motor running, and then you'll be able to do that in the way that best suits both of you. And this is especially important for men because as guys, we have a tendency to want to rush straight to the finale of the show, so to speak. And by you slowing us down and by really pacing us in terms of escalating intimacy with you, it's going to help us build value, build desire, and continue to build that anticipation, right? That dopamine high that's going to make the entire experience much more charged, much more passionate, and much more enjoyable, both for you and for us. And tip number 6 is a sweet one, and that is, as often as you can, show appreciation for him and for the experience that the two of you just shared together. I cannot tell you how much it means to us men when you show us gratitude and appreciation for the physical intimacy, the sex that we just shared, the effort that maybe we put in, because a lot of times we'll be in our head afterwards being like, well, was it good? Was it not good? I mean, hopefully it went well. She seemed like she was having a good time, but there is nothing that lands deeper with us than when a woman just like during pillow talk after sex says, wow, that was so amazing. I loved it when you did this. This felt so great. Like, you always know how to make me feel so good. Stuff like that, I'm telling you, I cannot possibly describe to you what an ego boost that is for us and how much more confidence that gives us for the next time that we're going to be sharing a bed with you. So just know that when you express your appreciation for the experience you just shared with your man, especially if you get specific with it about the specific things he did right, you're not just celebrating those things he did. You're deepening your emotional connection with him and laying a foundation of love and safety for the future of your relationship. And as promised, here is a bonus tip, a secret file from the archives of men that is going to help you apply all of these tips and so many more with every guy that you are going to hook up with. And that is this: experience is nowhere near as important as enthusiasm. And I will explain what I mean by that. But what I see a lot with the women that I'm working with is that y'all a lot of times are afraid to ask for what you need, express what you desire, or try new things because you're afraid of getting it wrong or of being judged for it or of just having some story in your head that it's not going to be received well by the guy. And here is something I have to share with you, ladies. We do not want you to be perfect. What we need, what we desire more than anything, is to feel desired by you. It's to have a hot, passionate, energetic, present experience with you. And honestly, when you bring enthusiastic energy to whatever it is, we're going to get off on that way more than we are on the perfection of your technique or the delivery of your talking about what your desires are or something. And just a specific example of this, just so you get what I'm saying, is we would much rather have a blowjob from a woman who is enthusiastic and really wants to make us feel good and is really excited to do it, but maybe doesn't have like the best technique or perfect technique. We'd much rather have that than we would like to have a unenthusiastic or disinterested blowjob from a woman who has perfect technique. Does this make sense? Like, it's the energy of the experience, the energy behind, the intention behind the action that's much more activating and hot for us than the physicality of the thing itself. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope you can apply that both to everything you're doing with these guys you're dating and also to everything you're saying, because rather than saying it perfect, don't leave it left unsaid or leave it left undone. Does that make sense? So use this last tip as a permission slip to just try new stuff and bring new stuff into the bedroom with your guy, and trust that because he likes you, because he wants to co-create great experiences with you, he's going to receive whatever it is that you have to share with him with open arms and with an intention to create fun, memorable experiences with you. So there you have it, ladies. 6 surefire ways to drive your man wild in bed. Remember, it's all about building anticipation, communicating confidently, being present with him, mixing it up, savoring foreplay, and showing deep appreciation for him for every stage of the sex or physical intimacy the two of you are sharing. And if you can do all these things with just absolute permission to own it energetically, and you're enthusiastic and courageous and really showing up wanting to co-create sexy, fun, passionate experiences with him, just watch how turned on he gets, and how open he's going to be to a whole variety of new magical experiences with you that maybe you never even dreamed possible before. So get out there, have fun with these tips, and be sure to let us know in the comments below what's working, what's not, what additional things you'd also like to add to this list that maybe I can talk about in my next video. And be sure, if you haven't yet, to click that link in the comments and caption. I've created an amazing free gift that's going to make a huge difference for you in all your connections, all your relationships with men. And be sure to stay tuned towards this next video where I'm going to be sharing with you 5 sexy things men love to hear in bed. So now that you've got some great tips for what to do with a guy in bed, let's talk about what to say, because a lot of times what you say is just as hot and just as powerful as the actions that you're taking. So get out there, have fun with the men in your life, and I will see you in our next video. Bye-bye. And the first rule of communicating with a man in bed is that specifics are hot for us. The more specific you can be about what you like, what you want, what you're feeling from him,